Welcome. Good morning. It's Wednesday, September 11th, 9/11. And CPI day, right? That was pretty anticlimactic as expected because it doesn't matter, right? The data is the data. Whatever they want to tell you, that's what it's going to be. And this is basically what's the most important thing here is the charts. And the charts are saying right here that the baseline is still holding us support on a week-to-week basis too, by the way. You can zoom in here. You can see that, yeah, maybe pre-market it went down a little bit to the 457s, but it's ever since recovered. And now pre-market, the QQQ is up to 459.60, back above that 458.29 level. And I think that's the most important thing to watch for the week is staying above 458.29. And who cares about any news narrative? Who cares about any debate? Who cares about the CPI? All that matters is looking at these charts and holding these levels. And if they continue to do so, then nothing else matters. And right here on the daily chart, it's even more evident what really took place this morning. So what we see is this daily candle is going to open here in the cloud. And pre-market, it went down to the 457. We can maybe see in the 4-hour chart where it went to. Yeah, it went down exactly towards 455.74 on that candle, right? So down there, 455, it just wicked through the bottom of the cloud and then recovered quickly. So that is evidence right there that this wants to stay in the cloud. Good morning. And I think it's going to move upwards. So they just had a quick little liquidity grab this morning to go down, maybe almost touch that baseline down there. And now it looks like it's going to stay in the cloud. So just watch that level for the rest of today, the 456.50. And if that level holds, then I think the coming days will still be in the cloud and it can battle this resistance above. And then it can maybe finally flip this cloud to a support to continue higher and higher and higher and higher. So we'll see. Like this looks like it could be that breakout and a back test of this zone before it wants to build a base and go higher. So this is looking more and more bullish as the time goes on. And SPY. So daily chart, there's really no change with that one. It was stuck under resistance of the 50-day moving average, and it still is, right? So it's still going to open a new candle maybe below it. I mean, there's still 25 minutes left until the market opens. So it has the potential to open above if markets continue to rise pre-market. So this is still a possibility to go above. But since it's still at resistance on a day-to-day basis for the past 3 days, it's been below. This could get rejected again, and there is a possibility to send it a little lower back down to test the support below. So we need to pay attention to that 548.79, that level right there. Or sorry, no, it's 549.13, right? Current price is 548.79. Yeah, so 549.13 is that level right there. So we're going to pay attention to that. See if it can close the day above it. If it can, then it could have a possibility of continuing higher. But right now it's exactly at resistance, so can't really get too excited about the SPY today. Good morning, Vivian. And now we got the IWM, and the daily chart is telling us everything too, right? It's saying that, hey, maybe this 207.44, this 100-day moving average wants to be support. Yesterday, there was a big wick through, and it closed above. And this morning, there was a wick through as well, and currently the price is 207.75 right there, right? That's the current price for the IWM pre-market. So it looks like it's gonna probably, maybe, don't want to jinx it, open above it, right? We'll see. Right now it's basically right on it. 207.49, 207.44 is the 100-day. So just going to watch that throughout the day, see if it can hold that level. If it doesn't hold that level, there is a possibility to head lower down to the 202 down here. So we really need to see if that can hold. And so far, so good after it's been a breakout and a back test. So that's the most important thing. for today and the rest of the week, just to continue above that so the trend can continue and eventually break that resistance above. And now let's go check out Tesla. So where is Tesla sitting pre-market? It's at 225.71. So there we go. There we go. Let's zoom in here. 224.11 is the 50-day moving average. And we even saw it go down there pre-market just now after the CPI data. And that is, that held, right? That held, and it looks like it's going to open another day above that 50-day. So let's just consider that level support today, the 224.11. Maybe it can wick below a little bit, but I want to build levels on top of all this support. And once it can get on top of that 50-day for sure, then I think it can move higher. And then we can go switch to the weekly resistance levels. And the weekly resistance levels are going to be up here still at the 235.25, the 200-week moving average. So there still is resistance above on the weekly chart. But at least let's get this daily resistance out of the way and make sure it gets flipped to a support. So that's the level for Tesla that I want to see a close today, 224.11 for that continuation higher. And NVIDIA, it's up $1.33 pre-market. And let's take a look here on the daily chart, what's happening. So zooming in here, we can see that this is current price pre-market, right around here. That means it has the potential to even open a candle within the cloud today. And if that can open in the cloud, then I think there's a possibility of even having the bottom of the cloud as support then to possibly move to the 110s, to the 111s and above. So let's watch where it opens today. If it opens below, then it still could be resistance and maybe could head back down. So let's just keep our eyes open on that opening price and kind of want to open above that 109.40. 109.40. Good morning, Fat Ching. Good morning. Ethereum is being weird. Looks super depressed. Depressed. Yeah, so that's NVIDIA right there. Let's just keep an eye on that 109.40 just to see if it can open in the cloud and then go to the 111s above. Let's go. Yeah, we can check out ETH real quick. Yeah, Ethereum is, the daily chart kind of says it all. Really, it's been struggling to get above this support, and it's still struggling right now. Yesterday it closed above, but it's still battling 23.51 on a day-to-day basis. But the good news is it's holding the 200-week moving average, so it's nothing to worry about. I think it's just building a base to go higher. So as long as 22.98 holds on a week-to-week basis, this thing will most likely go back up. But yeah, it did lose the 50-week and then it just collapsed, right? So you can see how these lines really work. And that did get flipped to a resistance, right? Broke support, flipped to a resistance, collapsed, found its next support, and now it's trying to hold, even wick through the 100. So it'll be fine. Just got to give it time. Yeah, patience on a lot of alts, but like I said earlier, last week, I actually said I think the bottom had the potential to be in for a lot of the altcoins, for most of them actually. So we're going to keep an eye on that. As long as Bitcoin doesn't really fall apart, I think everything will be okay. And what else? Oh, there's some positive price action with NVAX this morning, possibly with a win from the Camilla. They're anticipating maybe, right? That's the news, I guess. But it's at 109 pre-market. But the daily chart is under all that, or sorry, the weekly chart is under all that resistance. But what's important for NVAX still is that blue angle held, right? These levels are really important. And I told you guys, I think yesterday on my show, that anything around 101, 100, 102 is an amazing opportunity. And sure enough, it just shot up right up to 109 the next day. So like that would be a quick 9% gain if you were just to listen to that, because this angle is important, guys. It's important. And sure enough, it's holding like a champ. So who cares about any news? It just wants to hold that support and build a base eventually to break out. So yeah, I think it has the potential to get back to resistance up here, maybe 111s, and let's see if it can go higher. Yeah, BTBT looks good. Sawyer again, charts for Bitfarms, Riot, Cypher, and TSLA, those are looking good. Yeah, we can check out BTBT. So this one's not looking that good. That's why I didn't post it, right? It's still stuck, really. It lost its GAN support, and it did hold the 100, but it's kind of stuck right now. And even pre-market is kind of still battling the 50-week moving average. So I kind of want to get it back above my ARK above here, maybe around $3 for it to have a chance to get back into the cloud. But right now, it just looks stuck to me. So that's why I didn't really mention it yesterday. But the good news is the 100-week held as support. This orange level held as a support too. But probably a little bit more patience for this one because it's still battling that 50-week moving average price, which currently sits at 277. And guess what? Pre-market is exactly 277. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Yeah, Robinhood. Take a look at that. Yeah, the bottom line with Robinhood is it's got to continue to close candles above 1943. That level right there, and currently pre-market's at what, 1970, so it has the potential to go higher, right? Sure does, but it must hold that 1943 on a week-to-week basis. Otherwise it could drift lower towards the cloud, and we don't want that. So let's just focus on that 1943, and that's all that matters for it. And the daily chart is showing some positive developments too, because you can see that price closed above the cloud yesterday, and price is going to open above the cloud today. So that's going to be maybe your support level, right? Around that 1943 level. So that's a great development for Hood from a previous resistance. Now it's going to be a support, but still has this resistance above, but that's okay as long as they can build a base to go higher and higher. And WULF, yeah, we'll take a look at WULF. WULF is really good. Daily chart, it's showing that it's almost on the top of the cloud too. Pre-market, you can see, oh no, sorry, pre-market is at 412. It's a little bit below, so it's getting rejected by that cloud right now. But it's still looking like it's maintaining the conversion line down there at 410. So I think maybe a little bit more time, it can get on top of the cloud and go, right? But just hitting some resistance, that's all. And the weekly chart's still really, really good. As long as it stays above 404 right there, it'll be fine for that continuation higher. Adobe, huh? ADBE. So Adobe is on a week-to-week basis back on top of the cloud. So we can't complain about that. That is basically a holding of support, big breakout, and now above the cloud. So it has the potential to continue higher and higher. And I think if these weeks continue to close above the cloud, it can probably go back and test the previous highs up here around the 630s. But also there's a potential to come back down here and retest some support too in the 550s or 540s. So gotta just pay attention. But as long as it stays on top, I think the momentum could continue to the upside. Yeah, I can take a look at AFRM, AFRM. And AFRM, just looking at the symmetry of it all, let's take a look at that. Yeah, see how well this works, right? Just shot up directly to the blue level, came back down, kind of held this angle exactly. Now it got rejected by that angle. See, they work perfectly as a range, right? And now it is in the middle of a support and a resistance. But the good news is, putting back on that cloud, we can see how it is trying to backtest that cloud right now as a support. And the pre-market is around the 3730 right there. So maybe on a This is a weekly candle, so it still has the possibility of closing the week above it to possibly continue higher. And on the daily chart, we can see that it's trying to maybe retest that 200 first, so maybe a couple more days of weakness and possibly can then continue higher. So we'll take a look at this by Friday to see if it has the potential to close maybe back above the 37.75 level up there, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, NVAX, NVAX. Well, this one's under resistance and it's above support. So don't really see any kind of breakout. It already had a breakout, right? From here, broke out. And now it's back testing the 100 week and still stuck under resistance. So I don't know if it has enough strength yet to go higher. Just more time cooling off. So I'm going to consider the 924 as support down there, even though it's at 1261 right now on a week-to-week basis. But on the daily chart, you can see it is making progress, right? It is making progress in between all those things, and it has to get above 13 bucks basically in order for a chance to get into the cloud. So we'll just watch that 1296 level, the 50-day moving average. Yeah, I can take a look at Palantir this morning. So Palantir, yeah, it's kind of getting rejected from that angle again, right? It's pre-market is right here, so it's gonna be below it this morning. So basically, that's all I'm going to be watching for the rest of the week is just seeing if it can close maybe above like 34.50 or so, or even around current price would be good, like 34.76. The way it kind of closed yesterday, I like that because then the following week could open up like in the cloud or above the angle and then continue higher. But no matter what, I still think 36 up here. I still think 36 is more likely first before it gets down below 30. So just going to watch those levels. And I think it still wants to go up. It still wants to go higher just because this angle is really upward sloping and it is very, very easy to get to the 36, in my opinion, before any kind of selling pressure happens. So just going to watch that angle for the rest of the week and see if it can close above around 35 bucks. We'll see. Okay, yes. Like the video and promote the live stream. Yes, please. Thank you. And Google. Yeah, Google lost its 50-week moving average. And I was telling my Palantir members that last week when it broke below. So now it's probably going to be a resistance. And sure enough, it came back up, got rejected. And doesn't want to go down towards the cloud. I think that's a possibility, right? Even though it's up pre-market, it's still resistance up here, the 153.32. And that's not going to change my mind until there's another weekly candle close back above it, right? So that's how that works. So Google, I think, is just stuck. It's looking for its higher low. And I think that has the potential to be the cloud down here in the 140s or even the 130s, the high 130s, because that still would even be a higher low from this candle right here, right? So keep an eye on that. And I think anytime it goes back to the low 150s could be rejected easily. I already did Ethereum, but we can take a look at XRP. And XRP is just stuck in between my arcs there, the orange arcs, and it's right in the middle of the conversion and baseline. It's just stuck and in between all the moving averages. So it's been stuck. I mean, technically, it's been stuck ever since it broke out from the bottom of the arc to the 200. It's just been up and down, up and down, up and down. So it's just been stuck, right? There's no change for the past couple months, right? No change at all. Even though it's in the lower range, there's just no change at all. And ELF. Eyes, lips, face. Yeah. Ooh, broke support massively. So this is your hope right here that this holds, right? This is zone from maybe like 93 down to like 88. And like this, we'll just say like this previous support zone, like a breakout and maybe a back test of it. So I think that is what it's looking like on a week-to-week basis, because now 122.49, that's going to be resistance, guys. There's no other way to say it. It's going to be resistance. So maybe it'll come down to 89. Maybe it'll go to 94 in that zone. But I think sub 100 is in ELF's future just because it broke a major support level that it hasn't really broken in a long time. Basically, May of 2022, right? But again, there is hope, right? The week isn't over yet. It did open below, but what if it just could close back above, right? That would be okay. But usually when it opens below, that's an indication it wants to go lower. So we'll see. But I still think below 100 and into the low 90s is the direction ELF wants to go. And OOMA. So OOMA, yeah, broke above the 50. And now it's in the cloud. So I think there's room to go up to maybe $12, 11.78, right up here. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But I think it is, yeah, it's approaching some resistance. Not only is the 11.78 the 100 week, but you can see like this previous zone right here, right around $12, was a support, flipped it to a resistance. So that $12 range, that zone, is going to be pretty massive resistance if it gets there. But the good news is it's not there yet. So it still has a possibility to go higher. Eyes, lip, face, head, shoulders, knees, toes. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. EOS. Yeah, EOS is above support. It's on all the indicators. It's above everything except for the top of the cloud. It's up here. So the resistance range is going to be 243 up to 320. That's it. Sorry, not 243. 290. Current price is 243. 290 up to 320, right? That's going to be your possibility. And what kind of percent is that? That's 20, maybe up to 32%, right? That's still a good gain that's possible up there, but not sure if it's ready to get to those levels yet. It's just has to maintain that 210 level, so we'll just keep an eye on that. But again, can't really see an explosion higher until it gets to the top of that cloud. And there's a little formation up here of the 200-week moving average starting to form right here. So that could be the next target in the future, but it's got to start closing weekly candles above 320 before that happens. And so far, 290 to 320, that's your resistance. Nothing will change. And SOXL. So SOXL, yeah, it's holding support, right? It held the 100-week moving average 3 times now, 3 weeks in a row, once, twice, 3 times. And now it's looking like it wants to go up towards the 3142, the 200-week moving average. So it's going to be in that range, I think. I don't think it's going to break above right away because now it's resistance, right? I mean, last time it closed below, it did shoot up right away, but not sure if it's going to do it the second time around. Just because it's kind of obvious what happened. It went down, went up here, got rejected by the 50, and now it's just going to be in this range. So yes, it's okay, but it has some work to do, right? It has some work to do. But as long as 2709 holds, it'll be okay. Sir, can you explain rate cuts to me in one sentence? Do we want rate cuts or not? Yeah, we want rate cuts because we want more liquidity in markets, right? That is what we want. And right now there's so much volatility because I think market makers are just creating that liquidity. What they're doing is they're grabbing all those stop losses underneath, forcing people to sell just so they can buy, right? That is forced liquidity right there. But once there's more and more money in circulation, there's more people, lower rates means people can have more spending money, right? Because they pay less on cars, on credit cards, on mortgage, on everything, right? And when they pay less, that means they have more spending money. And that means more money to invest. And that also means higher prices as well for stocks and crypto. So, yes, ultimately, it's a good thing. And right now, we just have a bunch of artificial liquidity grabs making people sell with those panics, right? That's why I don't listen to the news. That's why I don't care about the CPI or the debate or anything, because charts are telling the story no matter what. And we got, what, 2.5 minutes left until the market open. Let's take a look at SMCI. That one's always interesting. Yeah, still holding the 100-week 388. That was the opportunity last week, and even earlier this week, it was the opportunity, right? But now I still think it has room to go higher. I really do. Daily chart, maybe to the 435, but I think once it gets above that 435 zone, then it can go up to the 500s. So we just got to watch this conversion line on the daily chart. And what about ARKK? How's that looking? Yeah, it's down a little bit, but still, it's just battling its conversion line right there. It's a little bit below. So the number for the week is 43.20 for ARKK to close a candle above. And it's held support very, very nicely. And this is like the perfect example of that liquidity grab right here, opening way down here on August 5th. Forcing everybody to panic and everybody to sell. And what do? They just bought everybody's panic. They bought everybody's shares and just drove price up, creating that liquidity for making the rich get richer. Do I think a bull run is coming for crypto? Yeah, I think the bottom is pretty close to being in for the crypto. And I think bull run is possible, but maybe not for a while though, because when you look at a lot of things, including, we'll just go check out Bitcoin real quick. When you look at a lot of things, it's just stuck, right? It's stuck in between support and resistance. So don't really see it happening maybe until later. I don't know. Yeah, maybe until later this year, maybe early next year, possibly. But it just has to start making higher highs. And then once this chart starts making higher highs, maybe the first higher high I want to see it go above is maybe this one right here, 70,000. Once it starts going above 70,000, then I think everything else will accelerate a lot. But until that happens, it's just going to be stuck in a range, and don't really anticipate anything too exciting yet, right? And how long will it last? I think it just depends on how much money they keep printing in circulation. I think it could last a long, long time. Many people think it could end early next year, but I kind of think things are just beginning. So just got to watch out for that. And the market is open. Yeah. So how long will it last? It could last years, right? It could last years. So we'll take one final look at everything just to see how everything is. So yeah, the QQQ, everything's like flat. IWM is down $1. And remember, for IWM, what I really want to see is closing daily candles back above that 100. So I want to see a close above 207.58 today for the IWM. That's what I want to see. And everything else is just doing what it should be doing. NVIDIA is actually doing pretty well. Tesla is going back down to its levels too. See, it looks like Tesla even opened below the 50, right? It opened at 224.55. No, it opened above. Yeah, because the 50 is at 224.37. So maybe it's just going down to test some lower levels. Maybe 220.49 could be on the cards, but I want to see a daily candle close above that 224.37 right there for Tesla. So we'll see if that can happen. You're saying it has begun like Mortal Kombat? Yes, that's exactly what I am saying. Not really. It hasn't begun yet, but I think the bottom is kind of in. But yeah, I think what we're going to see today, though, for the markets in general is retesting support levels, right? Since everything also looks like it's resistance. Like Palantir looks like it's resistance. SMCI is getting towards that resistance up there at 429. Enphase is at the daily resistance too, right? So many things are just at resistance right now. So let's see if the support holds below. But ultimately, I want to see daily candles continue to close above all this resistance here for things to go higher, like for Tesla and NVIDIA and everything else, right? So